All right, so welcome to day 5 of becoming. And this is going to be short as far as presentation. So, we're basically talking about the importance and effectiveness of language and knowing how to use language mainly in how you speak. Of course, you can express um, in different ways, right? Body language is a thing. Communicating in general is a massive vibrational state that you want to utilize when maintaining yourself or working to maintain yourself in a positive frequency, right? So I went in and I found the Webster definition of language, and I took out the ones that stood out the most for what we're going to get into today. So language are the words, their pronunciation, and the methods of combining them used and understood by community study. So for example, study the French language, right? So language is also audible, articulate, meaningful sound as produced by the action of the vocal organs. So that part is very vital because what does that mean? Sound, audible, those are frequencies that you release from tone, right? From your body. You're using, at the end of the day, your audible, your ability to speak is actually a frequency that you're using your body, your senses to project out into the universe, right? Then it says a systematic means of communicating ideas or feelings by the use of conventionalized signs, sounds, gestures, or marks having understood meanings. For example, the language of mathematics. So there's different ways that we use language, and everybody has a different language. Even love languages can be different because the way you may portray love to be might not be the same as someone else. So if, for example, my love language could be touch, or my love language could be words of affirmation, but if Ricardo's love language or Wes's love language is acts of service, we won't be on the same level of understanding. We won't be on the same frequency, because then I can have the possibility of making Wes feel unloved. So language is very important in different aspects, and there's different ways to project language. But the main one we're going to focus on is actually the one that you project by using your voice, right? So the last one says the suggestion by objects, actions, or conditions of associated ideas or feelings. And I really wanted to stress that because as we've been learning, the feeling, which is your subconscious mind, is what creates your circumstance. So how can we express ourselves through language to maintain positive feelings, to keep the feelings, so that no matter what is going on, we don't lose track of that frequency of what we're putting out based on what's going on the inside. So, like communication, use language to be understood by energy and the universe. So when you speak anything, if you don't want it to come true, don't say it. If what you really feel deep down inside is not matching what you're saying, and now you can't understand why your circumstances are up and down, is because you are confusing your energy, you're confusing your frequency, you're sending mixed signals to the universe. So the best thing to do is to work very hard and consciously, my favorite word, to speak in the positive and avoid being passive about your positivity. A lot of us get fearful to even say our goals out loud, out of doubt. Because once you say something, you have to make it come true. Once it is known, you have to make it come true. That is very true on an ego level, but when speaking on frequencies, it's actually beneficial because you are communicating with the universe specifically what it is that you really want. It's not only that, the language that you use contributes to the perspective that you keep and the feeling that remains. I'm going to say that again. Your language contributes to this perspective that you keep and the feeling that remains. From childhood to adulthood, there are many benefits to using positive language. These include conveying affirmative messages, what to do versus what not to do, helping to instill a positive mindset and improving our overall well-being. In college, I took many sociology classes, and it has been found that students and young children who were spoken to in the positive way, who were always drilled to believe that they were a winner, that they were champions, that they could obtain and conquer anything in life, tend to be more successful and less doubtful in their adulthood because of their programming, because that frequency was always passed on to their mind, and the message that was received was positivity. It was something that made them feel reassured, appreciated, loved, and grounded in their purpose to prosper in life. Right? Now, those of us that had to battle with maybe bullying at school, or your teachers weren't the best, or maybe your parents didn't have this knowledge, so they always spoke fear and doubt into you. They really don't understand how detrimental that actually is to your growth. Because again, like I showed you with the conscious and subconscious mind, when you are a child, you have less of the ability to protect yourself from what you choose to consume. At that point, you don't have much of a choice. You're consuming because you're not fully aware. That awareness of the block, of the gate that you build later on is not there. So a lot of us do a lot of reprogramming to battle with the language that was instilled in us, with the doubt that was instilled in us through words. Some of us might even hear every time when you're about to do something big in your life, your paradigm might be so embedded with this negative language that you are probably even capable of still hearing that individual speak down on you or speak doubt onto you or fear. So language is huge, especially when you are raising a child and when you are undoing your paradigm. So be mindful of the company you keep as well. I want to add that on there. Be very mindful of the company you keep and the way they are speaking. And if you are that one friend that's on that journey, check them. Hey, don't use that word. That's me. That's already me. Everybody knows the H word slips here, the hate word slips here and there, and it's so heavy with negativity. And the more that you look up these words and their definitions, the more you understand what type of weight the word actually holds and what ideas in society are latched on to those words. So I want to make a point again, like I said, what you say shall be. What you say shall be. I want to give you an example. When I first started my journey, I decided to go to, I believe it was Playland, because I was dating this guy. He was scared of roller coasters, and my girlfriend was scared of big roller coasters. I'm all for Six Flags, and they're like, no, let's go to Playland. So me joking around, and this is how powerful when you start to consciously become a high vibrational individual and you learn these things, be very careful with how you speak. Because, and this was like the biggest lesson that I could give. We were walking from the parking lot to the entrance of Playland. And in that period, I could see one of the roller coasters, and in my head, and I literally said, like, whoa, like this roller coaster been up there since before I was born. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking these roller coasters are like before 1993, if I gotta put my age out there. No, guys, yes, I am almost close to 30, even though I don't look as so. But these are some old roller coasters. So I'm looking at them and they're looking all like dinged out, and not to play Playland at the end of the day. I don't think they can sue me for this, but they look they look all dinged out. The cut, there's not even, if it used to be purple, it's almost white now. Like, it's so bad, like watered down. And me, being who I am, because I like to joke, for those of you who know me, I'm like, you're telling me that you won't go to Six Flags where everything's still spanking brand new. They service these things like every day or every week or whatever it is. But you about to throw me on this old right? This old, because I have to express to you how strongly I was speaking, and I used my emotions, and I really got deep into what I was saying, because that matters. So I'm like, you're about to throw me on this old A roller coaster that looks like it was created before Christ, and y'all feel safe just because it's a little closer to the ground. So I'm like, that thing looks like we all get stuck on it right now. And I'm laughing, and I put so much power into it, and I'm like, da, da, da. Mind you, I didn't keep track of the fact that that was actually the first roller coaster we got on. So remember, we went from the parking lot, we get to the entrance. That's how quick it was. My mind went left. We go get tickets, we do the line. By the time we get there, it's the first roller coaster. In my mind, I didn't connect that once I'm on the roller coaster. Can you believe that mid-ride, facing the floor, like we're up there, and we're latched, and we're not, like, I can't move. Like, if this thing unleashes, it's over. There's nothing but concrete I'm facing right now. And we get stuck. So while we're up there, they're freaking out. I'm laughing because I'm like, guys, come on, it's a part of the roller coaster. Like, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Like, and they're like, Aixa, we're stuck. And I'm like, nah, guys, it's a part. You see, everything's fine. All of a sudden, I look to my right. I look down, and literally everybody that was online was getting kicked off line. And this is real life. I cannot make this up. If you want to contact my friend, my ex, they will tell you that this is a fact of life. Okay. We're literally stuck on the roller coaster. And right there, from that moment, I was like, I am going to remain careful about what I say. Like they say, don't say die, don't say certain things. Your tongue is your sword. And I know not everybody is religious and not everybody reads the Bible, but that is a major tool like in life, period. Why is your tongue is your sword? Because as a tool, it's something that can either work for you or work against you. So you can use it if you are strategic. If you are strategic, and even when I do these calls, as you can tell, I'm very careful about the words that I use. One, because I want to be understood, but two, I also want to be understood in a positive way. So you want to be very strategic about how you speak before you say. So always process and think first, what is the message that I want to portray, not only to this individual, but the frequency that I want to put out there. No matter what I might be thinking fit, like don't let that feeling sit, right? So something that I learned from Tony Robbins in a training, and I didn't quote it because it was not a book, it was not any specific words that he said, but basically he guides us, right? In order to be high vibrational, he tells you to use your body. And then one of the last points that he makes is language is very important. And he says he suggests you can use funny words to minimize negative feelings. So for example, if right now Wes uses my bathroom and he leaves the toilet seat up, I can get on this call and be like, oh my God, guys, like Wes really got me aggravated. Like I'm irritated to the core, right? Or I can say, Wes got me a little tithered. What's got me a little tithered? What does that do? When you do that, you fight against, not only do you fight against the negative emotion that you have, but you minimize the situation. And now you're keeping that frequency. You're keeping you're more in a positive state. Because if I say I'm tithered, compared to I'm enraged, I'm like angry to my core right now. What type of energy am I putting out there? Saying I'm tithered, I'm not putting my heart into it. There's no extra feeling. It was a situation that occurred, and it fickled me. It fickled me a little bit. Wes is laughing at me. It fickled me a little bit, it tithered me like a little something, something. Google these words and look them up and see what type of weight they carry compared to Wes left the seat up. I'm enraged to my core. I'm angry, and I'm putting on that emotion. Now, what am I going to attract? When I put out all that energy into that negativity, I'm not only going to attract negativity back into my world, but you're draining yourself. This is why when people say, oh, I don't got all that energy. I don't got energy for all of that. No. You know why you don't have energy for all of that? Because your energy is being displaced in the wrong direction. We are so quick to express when we're feeling so low, and we really get deep with it. But for some reason, we feel corny to express excitement. Why is that? If you were to switch how you speak to minimize negative feelings and add more powerful words to your vocabulary for positive feelings instead of, oh, I'm happy. Search more words that are powerfully positive rather than deeply negative. Do the research, because I promise you, if you minimize the negative, you will have that much energy to put into the positive. And honestly, it takes less energy to put it into the positive. Less energy. If you look this up, Bob Proctor says that a human is worth, I can't quote this, it was over 1 billion, I don't know how many billions of dollars, billions, not million, a human. The amount of energy that we have, that we carry, is worth billions, right? Like the energy that we have can literally light up towns and keep a town running, right? But we function, and this goes back to Eric Thomas, we're functioning at a AAA vibration, at a AAA frequency. Look up Eric Thomas's audios. They're amazing. I'll send them in the chat when we're done with this as well. And that's horrible. That's like knowing that we only are using 10% of our brain. Most, the average human, most of us. So if you struggle with this, if you know that your language is off, refer back to those affirmations that we went over and correct them. Make sure that you're always speaking in the positive, not in the lack. So don't say what you don't want to happen. Rather say what you do want to happen. Every time you say what you don't want to happen, your focus, your perspective, your energy is in the negative. It stays there. It's in that feeling. It remains. But every time you say the do, it also stays there and remains. So before I even get into the homework, there's actually something I would like to add. I didn't get to organize it into the slides because I wanted it like a chart and it wasn't working out for me. So just give me 1 second, guys, so I can pull it up. Oh, escape. All right. So we're going to talk about the differences between negative language and positive language. So negative tells the recipient what not to do. In this case, who is the recipient? The recipient. The recipient is the universe, because we're talking about your frequency becoming a high vibrational individual. You are then talking about what you don't want to happen. The positive talks about what you do want to happen, what you would like to attract. Negative sees no alternatives, sees no solutions, sees cloudiness. Positive always sees an open door, always builds a silver lining, always is available for other alternative paths. Negative language often sounds like you're blaming, shaming, judging, or putting out hatred, whether that be on an individual, on an object, on a situation, or even whether you believe in God, right? You could be putting blame on God, or you could be putting blame on the universe, or whatever the case is, on your higher entity. And then what do you think? What is the reaction that you're going to get out of that? What frequency are you going to get in return? Because I know if you put blame and judgment on me or shame, I'm not going to respond in a positive way. So the same thing goes for negativity. A lot of us believe, oh, opposites attract. Not in this situation. Like attracts like. Act as if, speak as though. Act as if, speak as though. Positive language is actually helpful, again, reassuring, supportive, kind, and empathetic. So a lot of us need to work on that, me, myself including. Because I have a tendency, to get in mode and want to joke with people and stuff like that. And if it's not understood to the certain same level, I could come off unsupportive or not reassuring or not empathetic. But that's part of my paradigm, because why? Because I was raised on self-love. That's when me and my family crack jokes on each other all the time. That's what happens. Thanksgiving, I already know 10,000 jokes are going to be cracked on She Who Lives as soon as I walk in the door. And then I'm going to laugh at it. And then I'm going to crack 10,000 more. And that's fine, as long as the feeling's high and it's understood. But if it's not, right, if that's not your language, that's not your love language, it can attract other things. So a major thing, because this is my killer right here. Negative language tends to be very passive. One thing that fickles, tithers, feathers, whatever you want to call it, me, is when an individual communicates in a passive manner. Not only because you are causing the other individual or the other party to do extra work to figure you out, but what you're doing is you're confusing your energy. You're being too passive. So there's no assertiveness, there's no 10 toes grounded energy. This is what I'm in, this is what's happening. Positivity, on the other hand, promotes affirmative action. It must happen. It will happen. This is what I'm going to be. This is how I'm going to be. This is who I already am. And this is what I attract at all costs, no matter the situation. Like Ty told me once, success belongs to me. If anybody who doesn't know who Ty is one of our chairmen in Prophet Empire. The Ty the God. Now, negative language, again, it's restrictive and limiting. Your negative language is still attached to those limiting beliefs and that paradigm that we're working very hard to break out of. Positive language, on the other hand, is encouraging. And sometimes you are going to feel that, guys. You're going to feel that battle, especially like I told you, the paradigm takes time to break. So you're going to catch yourself in moments where in your mind, you might want to say things. The best practice, if you are there, silence. Practice silence until you get it right. Practice listening and listening as much as you can before you get ready to speak. And when you are in the position that you're teaching yourself, ask yourself, am what I'm going to say encouraging to this individual, to myself, or to anything that I want to come to light or to life? No, so don't say it. Remember that little quote when we were in school? If you don't have something nice to say, don't say it. Literally, if you do not have something well to say, something that's going to fulfill, something that's going to make other people receive the joy that you are working for within yourself, don't say it. Negative language is reactive. Positive is proactive. Negative, reactive, positive, proactive. Positive, you have to think about, right? Because we already have these habits built. Negative, you're letting your mind or emotion or whatever the case get the best of you, and you're just saying the first thing out your mouth, because a lot of us don't even want to say hurtful things. I've noticed that. The one thing I've noticed is that like a lot of people don't want to say certain things, and it still gets managed to be said just out of like pure bad habit. And then they'll what happens is a toxic cycle occurs, and they'll retrace back, think about it, and then what do you think they do? They start to beat themselves up about what they said. They start to feel guilt. They start to build even more negative thoughts. They start to attract more negative things. They start to attract negative relationships. So language is everything. Language is everything. Don't say the don'ts. Don't say the no's. Don't say, yeah, you're going to have negative thoughts. But one way to manage them is as soon as you catch a negative thought, say something positive. What? You know how many times, guys, I've been in my car behind the wheel and I'm having these thoughts and I'm like, and I have to laugh. What's caught me saying I laugh at my own jokes, whatever. But I have to laugh because I could picture myself doing this in the car. Like I'll be driving and I'll be like, no, no, you are great. You're amazing. Everything's going to work out. Today's an amazing day. Like you just woke up to a blessing today. You were able to trade. You were able to impact the life. You did the most that you could. You worked out. You spoke to your mom. You told 3 people you loved them. You showed gratitude. You prayed. Like I have to take this, like I have to speak and use my audible frequency. Remember that term, your audible frequency, to decipher what goes in my conscious mind, so then I could gain that feeling in my subconscious to create the circumstance that comes right after that. So using your language can really defeat your thought. So with that being said, I'm going to quickly, like I said, today was a short call because it's just one specific topic, but I feel like I really had to make it that way because it's such a powerful topic that is something you really have to sit down and put effort towards. You need to educate yourself on what a lot of these words even mean. A lot of us don't even know the definition of what we're saying. That's why I made it a thing that on the 8 p.m. calls and the 11 p.m. calls, the first thing we do is we provide the proper definition to each word, right? And for anybody who's late to the call, no worries. This is actually recorded and it will be posted to my YouTube. And once the training is all together, I'm going to share it with the team. So let me just share the homework and then I'll open the lines so you guys can speak, ask questions. If you did the homework, great. And I'm going to share screen. All right, perfect. So so today's homework is come up with a list of 5 words that you can replace to express negative feelings. Again, like I said, feathered, fickled, tickled. I mean, whatever can bring laughter in those moments where you're really like, you're triggered, guys. You're triggered, or like you have road rage. I've done it before. Like I've had road rage, and in that moment, I'll be like, ooh, 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 you mama flower. And once I say mama flower, there's nothing positive about moms and flowers. So I start laughing at myself because it's something funny, right? Or even feathered and fickled. Like, who says that? Like, me saying that brings a smile upon my face. So something you can replace that makes you laugh and triggers that like positive emotion to replace those negative feelings. Work on 5 words. Even if it's like, even if you get creative and make your own word, like I would love that. Let's do it, right? Eliminate words such as hate from your vocabulary. Like, I'm someone, literally everybody around me uses that word, including Mr. West. And I am could be 3 blocks away and I'm like, don't use the H word. Right? And excuse the fact that I missed the word there. I'm human, guys. Now, last is try expressing your negative emotions in a less forceful way than usual and save that energy to express positive emotions. So I'm going to eliminate the word try, and I'm sure somebody's going to correct me on this, and now I have to do 10 push-ups. Eliminate, yeah, the last one is definitely going to be interesting. Why? Because once you do this practice, I'm not going to make you write it down or anything, but I would love to hear some stories on next week, on tomorrow's call, about what you did to replace those, like instead of being like, I'm angry, what did you do? Because me, the habit that I have, even when I'm crying, is I laugh first. And people really think I'm crazy, but it works. So, for example, today, small example, we were like out, we were driving to the gym and I was getting like sandwiched in this, because in Florida, there's not a lot of lights. So sometimes it's kind of like everybody figure it out. And that is crazy. I feel like that's probably the cause of like 98% of the car accidents, because of the way the intersections are. So you have to be mindful of who's going to go. So at that point, I caught like a sense of a negative emotion and like that pressure. I'm going to call it pressure because anxiety is too deep. You see what I did there? And I was just like, I'm gonna laugh, because I started laughing. Like, I'm gonna laugh because if I don't laugh, I might lose it. So replace those feelings, replace it. What did I do? I fell back into myself and I said, listen, I'm not even in a rush, but I'm laughing because we're all gonna sit here like foolish individuals, like that clown on 11 o'clock p.m. and try to figure out who's gonna take the turn to go, because today I'm not getting in a car accident, right? So I'm gonna take out this try. No try. You will, because that's how we speak. We speak in the affirmative. You will express your negative emotions in a less forceful way than usual and save that energy to express positive emotions. So if you're usually someone who doesn't know how to get excited, find 3 reasons to like be excited, even if it's small. Even if it's, wow, I woke up today. Wake up in the morning and be like, whoa. And this is when y'all gonna laugh at me, and it's okay. Whoa, I woke up today. And put your energy in that, and I promise you, Wes is laughing at me. You see? See, that's the thing. In our culture, we're taught that being excited about life is corny. You ever was in school? Before I open this up and I stop the recording. You ever went to high school and there was just that one mama flower that always came into the class so happy and like full of life and like, yeah, guys, like today we're gonna, you know what I'm saying? That one class, like individual energy, whether it was the class clown, whether it's Chad, George, or Sophia, like they're just super excited. They're on 1,000. You don't know what they drank this morning. And you're just like, can this class be over? They want to answer every question. They're like, ooh, like me, pick me. And you're sitting there like, you're a little mad, and don't lie, do not lie. So I put 2 in the chat if you ever felt like somebody was too bubbly and you couldn't handle it. And you're mad in your body like, what this mofo is so happy about? I know. That used to be me. Now I see that and I'll be like, I want that. I want that. Because I bet you Chad and Sophia right now that was like, ooh, 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 they millionaires. Call them. Call them right now. If they kept that energy, if they did not let life break them down, that individual is a millionaire. And another thing, don't get misconstrued. You can vibe at a high frequency and not be loud. You can vibe at a low frequency and be loud. If you ever seen Ty speak, his energy is very maintained. But he's very careful about what he projects and what he's really willing to receive in his consciousness. And I know because having a conversation with him is like you feel filled up. Like it's like if your tank is low, he just filled you up with his just having a conversation with him, being next to him. You feel rejuvenated because he has enough energy that when he projects his energy, it's so positive, it fills you up. So with that being said, that's day 4 language. I'm sorry, day 5, day 5. Sorry. Thank you, Ricardo. I saw your lips. Day 5 of becoming. I appreciate everybody who's still on the call. I'm going to stop the recording now.